Good evening, Wareham, and welcome to the Town of Wareham Select Board meeting for December 16th, 2025. May I have a roll call, please?
With us tonight is Mr. Joseph Still, Ms. Judith Whiteside, myself, Sarah Corbett, Mr. Marcus Gomes. Absent tonight is Mr. Jared Chadwick. Present remotely is Town Council Richard Bowen and Town Administrator Derek Sullivan.
Thank you. I declare that there is a quorum present. May I have the Pledge of Allegiance led by Indiana Troop, please?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Residents' comments. Is there anyone here who would like to address this board on something that is not on the agenda? Mr. Day?
I have one hand.
I'm sorry?
Rihanna King.
Okay, thank you.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, could you identify yourself for the record, please?
Hi, this is Brianna King. I am speaking on behalf as a town resident. And I know you guys can't respond, but I would like some updates and some more conversation regarding the DECIS plan in the town properties.
Thank you.
Seems when I was doing my investigation and looking into things, it kind of fell off from a town perspective and a resident perspective. After 2022, there really wasn't much more talk of it. So I would like to see some more conversations in the town about that.
Thank you. Enjoy your holiday.
Thank you. You too.
Thanks. Let's do our appointments right now. Oh, no, let's do announcements. Announcements, Mr. Still? Mr.
I have no announcements.
No.
Goodness, you guys. Okay. Wishing all of our friends happy Hanukkah, Merry Christmas, and happy Kwanzaa. Wish all of you a safe holiday and a happy holiday season. I want to thank all of the boards and commissions and volunteers in this town of Wareham. I think I don't even know how many there are, but there's more than 100 people who work all of the time, usually without recognition, and all of our town employees who have done a spectacular job this past year. So Merry Christmas and Happy New Year, and stay safe, all of you. Thank you. Okay, we will, Mr. Wolverton, are you present? Would you step forward, please? Would you identify yourself for the record, Mr. Wolverton, and speak to your interest on going onto the Historical Commission?
My name is Richard Wolverton. I live on Great Neck Road.
And your interest is to be appointed to the Historical Commission?
We've fallen in love with the town since we've arrived about 4 years ago. I have a background in anthropology and computer sciences, and I love history and things, and I think there's a lot of potential in this town. I wasn't raised here. I didn't grow up with a history in my background, and I'd love to learn about it and help preserve the history as much as possible. Unfortunately, we're not making any more 1687 buildings anymore.
Any questions? I know that you have the unanimous recommendation from the current members of the Historical Commission. Excellent.
They're good people.
Excellent.
I move to appoint Richard Wolverton as a member to the Wareham Historical Commission with a term to expire June 30, 2028.
Second.
Motion made and seconded to approve is read into the record. Is there any further discussion on the motion? Hearing none, I will go for a roll call vote. Mr. Still? Yes. Mr. Gomes?
Aye.
Ms. Corbett?
Aye.
And myself, aye. So, Mr. Wolverton, now you can go. Now you can go to the Select Board office and demonstrate. You have most of your paperwork because you're on another.
I believe I turned it in yesterday. If not, I'll make sure we get it.
Okay, and the instant you have all of the paperwork done, they will give you the certificate. You go down to the town clerk's office, they swear you in, and then you can join the group. Thank you so
Okay.
much for your interest.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Indiana Troop, you step forward, please, and identify yourself for the record.
Hello, I'm Indiana Troop. Thank you for having me tonight.
Can you speak to your interest to be a member of the Community Events Committee?
Absolutely. Well, I am a lifelong Wareham resident. I've lived here about 18 years now. I'm a 2023 graduate of Wareham High School. Ever since I was young, I've really been passionate about both events and being involved in my community. And when I heard about this opportunity, I thought it sounded perfect. To talk a little bit about my professional background, I've been working with events, believe it or not, since I was 12. That started with nonprofit work, planning health and wellness conferences and events across the country for students. When I was 14, I got my first jobs at Waterwiz, where I'm now the aquatics manager, and on Cape Cod Central Railroad's month-long Polar Express event, where I'm now the cast trainer and onboard supervisor, so still there at both jobs 7 years later. All throughout high school and middle school, I planned events for the school and fundraisers. My last 2 years of high school, I served as the Massachusetts DECA state president, where I planned our district conferences for around a few hundred students at each conference, in our state conference, which had over 4,000 attendees. And present day, a little fast forward, I study marketing and recreation management at the University of New Hampshire. I'm a junior, and that's with a focus in event management. I also serve on our student committee on entertainment there, where I'm the volunteer coordinator and was the former business manager. So we plan large-scale concerts for the UNH student body. Our last one had over 5,000 attendees. And now I do contract work at different music and cultural festivals, as well as consulting work with event planning and experiential marketing. So I really love events, clearly, and I think my experience would be perfect to help the community have some really great events and make a difference here in the community where I grew up.
Any questions?
Mr. Troop, how old are you?
I'm 20.
Love to see it. And I believe, also on your resume, you served on Wareham Middle School Student Council?
Yes, yep,
I
middle
remember
school.
you from way back
Yes,
then.
yeah.
So I'm so
And
happy you're interested in volunteering and stuff like this. We need more young people on these committees. So
Thank you,
I appreciate it.
thank you.
None for me.
Have you watched any of the videos, or have you attended any of the meetings?
Yes, I have.
How many, please?
3 from their older ones that are on YouTube from Wareham TV, but I watched about 3.
Okay.
So I had a quick question.
Yep.
Do you live on campus at UNH?
I do, yes.
So we have meetings Monday, the fourth Monday of every month at 6 PM. So could we do Zoom?
Mhm.
Is that a possibility? Okay. So you could participate remotely. That'd be
Perfect.
perfect.
And that, and that's only, obviously, when I'm in school. I plan to come in person when I'm here.
Okay, great.
The other question I would have is, if you are in any way connected with any of the events that would be applying for a permit,
No,
what would you
ma'am.
do?
I would, I mean, obviously, that's a conflict of interest, so I'd recuse myself from voting on any events I'm involved with, but I don't foresee it being a problem.
Okay, so I think what you should do in, presuming you get appointed, is
Absolutely.
that you would sign a disclosure agreement and just put it on file in the
Yes, ma'am.
clerk's office? Yeah, okay. Any other questions? Go ahead.
No, just thank you for your involvement. And it's good to see people that, live here that want to do more for the community. A lot of people, you don't see it. I mean, Joey has been like the last one I've seen at that age around you guys that stepped up. So thank you.
Thank you.
I move to appoint Indiana Troop to the Community Events Committee with the term to expire June 30, 2026.
Second.
Motion made and seconded to approve is read into the record. Excuse me. Is any further discussion on that motion? Hearing none, I'll go for a roll call vote. Mr. Still?
Aye.
Mr. Gomes?
Aye.
Ms. Corbett?
Aye.
Myself, yes, it is so. Paperwork is required. You have to complete it all before you can be signed. You probably know the drill.
Perfect.
Okay, great.
Thank you so
much.
much.
Have a nice holiday.
Thanks, you too.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'll accept a motion, Mrs. Corbett, on item 6C.
I move to approve the certified weight masters as listed on items 1 through 7 with a term to expire December 30, 2026.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. These are certified waymasters that work for Wallaca and Sons Moving. The headquarters are in New Bedford, and we do this on an annual basis. They don't work for the town, but under the law, we have to appoint them. Any further discussion on that motion? Hearing none, I will go for a roll call vote. Mr. Still?
Aye.
Mr. Gomes?
Aye.
Ms. Corbett?
Aye.
And myself, aye, it is so. Let's go to item 8K on page 6.
I move to approve the following Class 2 licenses for the year ending December 30, 20...
Okay,
Okay, sorry. I move to approve the following fortune teller's license for the year ending December 31, 2026, under the provisions of Chapter 140, Section 185I of the Massachusetts General Laws as printed in the agenda items 1 and 2.
Second.
motion made and seconded to approve is read into the record. Any further discussion on that motion? Hearing none, I will go for a roll call vote. Mr. Still?
Aye.
Mr. Gomes?
Aye.
Ms. Corbett?
Aye.
And myself, aye. It is so. Thank you. Okay. It is not 7:15 until I tell you it's 7:15. So we will continue to do our thing, if that's okay with you. Okay. Ms. Corbett, let's see how,
J.
you want to do 8, start on the bottom of page 2. Comment, Vix? Sorry,
Getting
going
there.
back and forth.
Bottom of page 2.
Yeah, this one.
This is my page 2.
8A.
You don't have these?
No.
Okay, now you do.
Okay. I move to renew the following annual common victular license for the year ending December 31, 2026, under the provisions of Chapter 140 of the Massachusetts General Laws, pending payment of fees, completion of paperwork, and satisfactory inspections, as printed in the agenda. Oh, Lord. Items 1 through, what is that number?
It's 26.
6. Items 1 through 26.
Second.
Motion made and seconded to approve is read into the record. Any further discussion on that motion? Hearing none, I will go for a roll call vote. Mr. Still?
Aye.
Mr. Gomes?
Aye.
Ms. Corbett?
Aye.
Myself, aye, it is so. Can you do page 4B?
I move to approve the following annual common victular all alcoholic beverage licenses for the year ending December 31st, 2026, under the provisions of Chapter 138 of Massachusetts General Law, pending payment of fees, completion of paperwork, and satisfactory inspections as printed in the agenda items 1 through 4.
Second.
Motion made and seconded to approve is read into the record. Any further discussion on that motion? Hearing none, I will go for a roll call vote. Mr. Still?
Aye.
Mr. Gomes?
Aye.
Ms. Corbett? And myself, aye, it is so. You're on a roll.
I move to approve the following annual club all alcoholic beverage license for the year 2026 under the provisions of Chapter 138 of the Massachusetts General Laws, pending payment of fees, completion of paperwork, and satisfactory inspections as printed in the agenda item 1.
Second.
Motion made and seconded to approve is read into the record. Any further discussion on that motion? Hearing none, I will go for a roll call vote. Mr. Still?
Aye.
Mr. Gomes?
Aye.
Ms. Corbett? And myself, aye.
Aye.
It is so. D.
I move to approve the following annual common victular wine and malt beverage license for the year 2026 under the provisions of Chapter 138 of the Massachusetts General Laws, pending payment of fees, completion of paperwork, and satisfactory inspections as printed in the agenda item 1.
Second.
Motion made and seconded to approve is read into the record. Any further discussion on that motion? Hearing none, I will go for a roll call vote. Mr. Gomes?
Aye.
Mr. Still?
Aye.
Ms. Corbett?
Aye.
And myself. Aye, it is so. Just seeing if you're awake. Go ahead.
I move to approve the annual retail packaged goods store wine and malt beverage license for the year 2026 under the provisions of Chapter 138 of the Massachusetts General Laws, pending payment of fees, completion of paperwork, and satisfactory inspections as printed in the agenda item 1.
Second.
Motion made and seconded to approve is read into the record. Any further discussion on that motion? Hearing none, I will go for a roll call vote. Ms. Corbett?
Aye.
Mr. Still?
Aye.
Mr. Gomes?
Aye.
And myself. It is so. Go ahead.
I move to open the Comcast contract license. It's 7:15.
No, we're not going to do that yet,
Oh.
because they're not here yet,
Oh.
right? Right.
Oh.
So we're going to keep going.
Gee. I move to approve the following annual entertainment license for the year 2026, Sundays only, under the provision of Mass General Law, Chapter 136, pending payment of fees, completion of paperwork, and satisfactory inspections as printed in the agenda, item 1.
Second.
Motion made and seconded to approve is read into the record. Any further discussion on that motion? Hearing none, I will go for a roll call vote. Mr. Still, Mr.
Aye.
Gomes,
Aye.
Ms. Corbett, and myself, aye, it is so.
Do F? We didn't do F.
We didn't?
No.
Didn't do F yet.
Okay,
No.
go ahead, sorry.
I move to approve the following annual entertainment license for the year ending December 31, 2026, weekdays only, under the provisions of Chapter 140, Section 138A of the Massachusetts General Laws, pending payment of fees, completion of paperwork, and satisfactory inspections as printed in the agenda, item 1.
Second.
Motion made and seconded to approve is read into the record. Here, is there any further discussion on that motion? Hearing none, I will go for a roll call vote. Mr. Still,
Yes.
Mr. Gomes,
Aye.
Ms. Corbett,
Aye.
myself, aye, it is so. H,
I move to approve the following Class 1 license for the year ending December 31st, 2026, under the provisions of Chapter 140 of the Massachusetts General Laws, pending payment of fees, completion of paperwork, and satisfactory inspections as printed in the agenda items 1 and 2.
Second.
motion made and seconded to approve is read into the record. Is there any further discussion on that motion? Hearing none, I will go for a roll call vote. Mr. Still.
Aye.
Mr. Gomes.
Aye.
Ms. Corbett. And
Aye.
myself, aye, it is so.
I move to approve the following Class 2 licenses for the year ending December 31st, 2026, under the provisions of Chapter 140 of the Massachusetts General Laws, pending payment of fees, completion of paperwork, and satisfactory inspections as printed in the agenda items 1 through 4.
Second.
Motion made and seconded to approve is read into the record. Is there any further discussion on that motion? Hearing none, I will go for a roll call vote. Mr. Gomes.
Aye.
Mr. Still.
Aye.
Ms. Corbett.
Aye.
And myself, aye, it is so.
I move to approve the following Class 3 license for the year ending December 31st, 2026, under the provisions of Chapter 140 of the Massachusetts General Laws, pending payment of fees, completion of paperwork, and satisfactory inspections as printed in the agenda, item 1.
Second.
Motion made and seconded to approve is read into the record. I'm thinking. Okay. Any further discussion on that motion? Hearing none, I will go for a roll call vote. Mr. Still?
Aye.
Mr. Gomes?
Aye.
Ms. Corbett?
Aye.
And myself, aye, it is so. We did the fortune tellers. For 9A, we approved a license in the name of an individual. I can't remember her first name, Nagaris, and it needs to be approved in the name of the Gifted Crate Lazy Lobster Race. So may I have a motion to just do that?
I move to reapprove special event in onset only road use for the Gifted Crate Lazy Lobster Race and Festival 5-mile fun run walk through Onset, Massachusetts.
Which was reference event number 47.
47866.
Motion made, seconded to approve is read into the record. Any further discussion on that motion? Hearing none, I will go for a roll call vote. Mr. Still?
Aye.
Mr. Gomes?
Aye.
Ms. Corbett?
Aye.
And myself, aye, it is so.
I move to accept the donation from the Salerno family to the Council on Aging in the amount of $1,675.
Second.
Motion made and seconded to approve the donation. Any further discussion on that motion? Hearing none, I will go for a roll call vote. Mr. Still?
Yes.
Mr. Gomes?
Aye.
Ms. Corbett?
Aye.
And myself, aye, it is so.
I move to accept the donation from Sharon Rice to the Council on Aging in the amount of $50.
Second.
Motion made and seconded to approve is read into the record. Any further discussion on that motion? Hearing none, I will go for a roll call vote. Mr. Gomes?
Aye.
Mr. Still?
Yes.
Ms. Corbett?
Aye.
Myself, aye, it is so. The contract that we have with the town of Lakeville and the town of Wareham, we use their animal shelter. We have been doing that for years and years and years. It's an annual renewal, so you had a copy of it in your packet, and I would ask for a motion to renew and then a second, and if you have any questions, then we can talk about it.
I move to renew the contract between the Town of Lakeville and the Town of Wareham for utilization of the Lakeville Animal Shelter for 2026.
Second.
Motion made and seconded to approve. Is there any further discussion on that motion? Okay, excellent. Hearing no further discussion, I'll go for a roll call vote. Mr. Still?
Aye.
Mr. Gomes?
Aye.
Ms. Corbett?
Aye.
And myself, aye, it is so. I have no 48-hour business. Mr. Underhill, I'm going to continue to wait on you.
I appreciate it, thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Sullivan, how about your report?
Thank you, Madam Chairperson. Good news. Wareham has received its certification for the housing production plan, and meaning essentially we have reached our affordable housing goal, or the goal the Commonwealth has for us, in excess of 10%. We are actually at 11.03%. So we had to go through, get certified by the state, and get approved. And we've entered into essentially what's known as a safe harbor. And they've allowed that for the next 2 years, dating through August 6th. It's interesting, they're giving us the approval in November, but saying it's through on August 6th through August 6, 2027, because of when the units came on board. But what does that mean for us? It means that some of the 40B projects, we can deny the comprehensive permit. Why would we do that? Well, there's some projects that come before us that just don't fit the neighborhoods. And I think many of us, or all of us, have a goal of allowing affordable housing in the town and making sure that everyone can afford a place to live. It's a basic right. However, with us being in the Boston housing market, we see a lot of developers try and maximize their profit and not necessarily care about the residents going into these locations. So that allows us to tell them, no, your project does not fit for what we see is right for the residents and for the fabric of this community. So 2 years goes by very quickly. But that means, in the meanwhile, what we can do is put together plans and potentially look for projects that we think would be good for this community. So it is a big win. A lot of hard work by everybody, including the planning department, the zoning board, the planning board, Affordable Housing Trust. So a lot of people behind the scenes working on this, and I appreciate all their help. I think this is a big win for Wareham to take a step back and help bring forward projects that we think are right for our community.
Mr. Sullivan, is that certificate, oh, sorry to cut you off there. Is that certificate of safe harbor available for residents to view for disbursement, or?
Yeah, we can put it out there, or I think that's fair. We can put it right on the town's website through the Affordable Housing Trust, and I'm sure you guys can do what you'd like with it. Post it up on high. It's a good notice.
Anything else, sir?
The other item is, this is a bit of an interesting one because it's going to sound counterintuitive, but that's where we are in some things. GASB 67 has this, which is a governmental accounting standard bureau. They put out these informationals and guidelines, and one of them is about pensions. And we need to fully fund our pension obligation, and ours is done through Plymouth County. Pensions are for municipal employees and employees of the school that are not teachers. So I think currently the split is, when we look at the school, about 54% of the pension obligation comes from school employees and 46 from town employees. These pension costs are going to go up about 8% every year until 2032. And that means that right now that's costing us about $500,000 extra and it'll be compounding each and every year. So there's going to be a push that we know from communities to say, hey, let's push it out beyond 2032. And I understand that, right? We're all looking at, let's just get through the next year. Let's just, get to the next event and just push it off. The only problem is when you're dealing with something compounding, every year you push it off, we're putting this town further behind financially. And we're costing hundreds of thousands of dollars, if not millions, because once we fully catch up, our obligation goes from, would be 7 going up to 8 million to about 33% of that. So it goes down to almost, let's say, $3.5 million. At that point, we're bringing that money back into our budget and helping with services. So, what I would ask is that we write a letter, and if you don't mind the chairperson and myself drafting it and sending it out to Plymouth County Retirement, that we do not want to push beyond 2032. And I'd like to bring a couple ideas forward to you over the next 6 months as some alternative plans to pushing it out. Because honestly, when you think about it, we could really, rather than pushing something out to save a few pennies and cost millions later, I think we need to do the proper plan and try and get this done sooner rather than later, so we can have those annual funds back in the budget, not being pushed out towards the pension obligation. So,
Having, former banker, you all know that. This makes ultimate financial sense. We are facing a really intense fiscal problem this year in terms of our budgeting. Mr. Sullivan is known for his ability to squeeze pennies, dollars, and dimes, but I think this is something that will ultimately be the right thing to do.
yeah, I think how many times we've been told, well, they kicked the can down the road and it caused more severe financial issues. And I will tell you, pushing it out for just the sake of pushing it out to save some money also hurts you in the long run, because if we do have a large economic collapse of some sort, or sort of mini downfall, you want to be able to use that for emergency situations and not just to do it to try and save a few dollars in 1 year. So I think it makes more sense to try and do some alternative planning than pushing out an obligation that, in fact, every year we push it out, if you think about it, starts going at 8%, it could cost us an extra $600,000-$700,000 on top of the extra several million that we would have to pay just to keep in line. So it does not make sense to me.
Yeah, the current value and the former value and the previous, following value, it just doesn't make sense. It does not make sense at all.
So I'd be hoping you allow us to just draft a letter to send to the Plymouth County Retirement Board. And then as we go forward over the next 6 months, I'd like to propose a few alternative plans from our end that will be, I don't think they'll have anybody jumping for joy, but I think they make financial sense.
Great, thank you. Anything else, Mr. Sullivan?
No, I do want to thank you all and everybody for what they do for this community. And, each year I'm very proud of it. And I had a former longtime employee come back and say that they are driving through the town and they think it's the best it's ever looked with everything going on. And there's a lot of hard work of people doing that, from, obviously town employees, staff, but residents and volunteers. So thank you all, and I wish you a happy holiday with you and your loved ones.
Thank you. I believe it is now 7:15. Is everyone who needs to be here? Okay, why don't you step forward, sir? Yes, please, yes.
I move to open the Comcast contract license renewal hearing.
May I have a second?
Second.
Motion made and seconded to open the hearing. Is there any further discussion on the motion to open the hearing? Hearing none, I will go for a roll call vote. Mr. Still?
Aye.
Mr. Gomes?
Aye.
Ms. Corbett?
Aye.
And myself, aye. We will now read into the record the advertisement as was printed in the paper.
The Select Board of the Town of Wareham, as the cable television license issuing authority, will hold a public hearing on Tuesday, December 6, 2025, at 7:15 p.m. at the Wareham Multi-Service Center, room 520, 48 Marion Road, Wareham, Massachusetts, 02571, regarding the renewal of the cable television license of Comcast Cable Communications Management LLC, formerly Comcast of Massachusetts 1 Incorporated. Information regarding remote participation will be available on the Select Board's meeting agenda, published on the town's website at least 48 hours prior to the meeting, or by contacting the Select Board's office. The purpose of the hearing is to provide the public with an opportunity to pose questions about and/or comment on a proposed cable renewal license renewal, as may be updated to be considered and/or voted upon by the Select Board. The hearing is being held pursuant to Section 626H of the Cable Act, 47 U.S.C. Section 546H, informal cable licensing renewal process, the Massachusetts Cable Law, MGL C 166A, Section 13, the regulations of the Massachusetts Department of Telecommunications and Cable 207 CMR 3.05, and any other applicable laws, regulations, and/or requirements. A copy of the proposed cable television renewal license and relevant applications, reports, statements, and/or amendment, if any, in the possession of the town to be considered at the hearing will be available for review and reproduction at and from the office of the Select Board, Memorial Town Hall, 54 Marion Road, Wareham, Massachusetts, during regular town hall hours on the Town of Wareham website, www.wareham.gov, and as additionally may be made available.
Mr. Underhill, can you confirm that it was in fact on the website?
Yes, it's posted on the website, and it's been posted in the newspaper for the last 2 weeks.
Thank you so much. Would you both identify yourselves for the record, please?
I am Matthew Underhill. I am the chairman of the Wareham Cable Advisory Committee. We have our cable attorney, William Solomon, here, and I think on Zoom is Michael Galler, from the representative from Comcast.
Could you spell his last name, please?
Galla, Galla.
Thank you. Thank you. You said Michael Gallo?
Michael Galler.
And what is his role?
He is the government representative from Comcast.
Okay. Gentlemen, it's up to you.
We've had, our current contract with Comcast, has expired. We've been working on renewing a contract. We've had several discussions and meetings between Comcast and the Cable Advisory Committee and Attorney Solomon, and we finally come to an agreement. And I think at this point I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Solomon to go over, the summary of what we negotiated.
Thank you. It's good to be here, Madam Chair and board members. I've worked with the town for many years and a number of cable licenses, Comcast and Verizon. So why don't I just go through, as Matt said, the proposed license is a 10-year term. That's the most allowed under state law for a cable license, and every Comcast or predecessor license on that side, not Verizon, has been 10 years. In my judgment, the long license is in the interest of both parties. It's in the interest of the town because the world, you don't know what the future holds. And if you can get a good license that works, I always view it like a long-term mortgage. You wanted to get it set, and then you don't have to keep on renewing every few years. Just on the numbers, and this is on the outline I usually just go through this. I think it's easier than for the board to read it beforehand. Comcast at the end of 2024 had 3,645 subscribers. The year before that, it's always December 31st, the number is 4. They had 4,147. The year before that, they had 4,644. And Verizon at the end of last year had 2,582 subscribers. The PEG access, as you know, PEG is Public Educational Government Community Television. You have a wonderful program here in Wareham. It's an integral part of the community and relationship with business, the local economy, connecting community groups to residents. And that PEG access support remains at 5% of gross revenues. That's gross revenues of the licensee Comcast and its affiliates, and it's a broad definition of revenue. no reason to exclude anything. It has advertising, home shopping, equipment, whatever comes in to the company, including what they want to charge their subscribers. Apart from that, in order, it will be considered to be gross revenue, and that's important. At the same time, PEG Capital in this license has changed for the first time from a set dollar amount to a per subscriber amount. Clearly, as subscribers go down, that number goes down. So we wanted to build in enough of a cushion to feel that the number was in the interest of the town of Wareham and Wareham Community Television and your residents. That number is $1.25 per subscriber. At current levels of subscribers, that would be about, for this year, about $55,000 for PEG Capital. That's in addition to and totally separate from the PEG operating. The PEG Access government, PEG Access channels is currently 3 channels. And what will happen within 24 months, though Comcast usually says that, that's an outlying date. They hope to have this beforehand. I'll believe that to Comcast. Within 24 months, Comcast will provide a high-definition PEG access channel. Communities have waited for that for many, many years. As part of that, there can be, and it's also at the same time, Comcast will be taking the other 2 standard definition channels and improving those to what's called SDI, serial digital interface, that'll have a better picture quality and a better sound quality. So all 3 channels will be improving significantly in picture and sound. That'll also be within 24 months. And then, as the HD channel, if there's equipment cost, that can be charged to the town or the Access Corp from this funding. It has to be invoiced, and then the maximum would be $20,000. Now, let me say that if it's typically just encoders, and typically here you might have 2 encoders, one for the HG channel, one for the SD. Coders, are about $2,500, $3,000. So I wouldn't expect an invoice, which you probably should try to get a price beforehand, of materially more than that. That'll be up to Comcast. I encourage the town to look carefully at that and to make sure that you're not paying for things above and beyond that. In my experience, that's never been the case with Comcast, but it's always good to be on your toes. So after that, we have the PEG Access video return. And here, the video origination site that goes back from where the programming will go back to the studio through Comcast Fiber is the town hall. That's a significant reduction in sites because the town, through your amazing tech department and building out fiber, has your own system. And so there were a number of reasons why it made sense to use the town's fiber from those other sites. But the town hall, connected through the town to the multi-service center, was important to keep the Comcast video return. I'm not sure, I haven't heard much from Comcast as to their, acknowledging or appreciating that, and I'm sure they do. I just probably didn't hear it. But that, I think, is significant. And I think what's significant about this license, from my perspective, is that the town, where it could, made compromises to be helpful to getting this done, but at the same time, obtain what it needed to have a good license going forward.
So those strikes are on Exhibit 6-3, and you,
Yes.
Correct.
yep, okay, thank you.
That's right. And the addition to that, and this is helpful, I don't thank Mike Galler of Comcast for his help and cooperation on this, is that if the town has the right to build at its cost a connection from any location to the studio, to the town hall, to be brought back to the studio, and to then be sent to over Comcast fiber to the head end, the Comcast head end, and from there to subscribers. And that's a great benefit, particularly in Wareham, where you have an active department, active town in building fiber throughout the town. Apart from that, in the modern day, if you want to do cable casting, as you know, from a remote location, it can be done over the internet. It can even be done wirelessly. But if you have a place that has a lot of programming, that's a good way to do it. And again, I'd like to thank Mike Galla for all his help on that provision. It was important to the town. As to the legalese and the policy provisions, I feel confident saying they're very strong, as good as you can see in the Commonwealth. I go over that carefully. It's important to protect your interest with respect to your public way and to your administration of the license. And again, I thank Mike Galla for cooperating and working so we could reach a license that in that respect works for both parties and fairly. There are 2 side letters that are part of this process. Let me do the PEG side letter first. And this is an important one because it addresses 2 issues. One is additional high-definition channels. It took about 15 years for Comcast and other companies, and Comcast is at the lead of this. No better company than Comcast. But that said, it took about 15, 20 years for Comcast to provide a high-definition channel for PEG access. Now, that was provided, it began in 2018 in the city of Revere, the city of Brockton. I worked with the town of Milton. And Comcast, to its great credit, says that when they roll something out that's new, that's not a trial, but that they're just providing to communities. And again, there's no better company in making those advances than Comcast. It does it for everybody. So the last time Comcast signed, and Comcast had a renewal in 2015 with the town of Wareham. And at that point, Comcast was not doing any high-definition channels. So, you could fight about it, you could, long process, but Wareham, like all communities, accepted that, disappointed, but accepted it, hoping that Comcast would soon thereafter provide a channel. And it did. It provided that channel in those communities I mentioned in 2018. And then for every license thereafter, it offered that channel to communities when they were in license renewal. Not some communities decided against taking it, but most took it. And so that was in 2018 and 19 and 20 and 21 and 22 and 23, 24, 25. And I think the town, I believe, through Matt, reached out to Comcast about getting an HD channel, and oftentimes the response in those situations is to say, well, your renewal is in whatever year. The renewal here was in 2025. So that Wareham, because of the timing of that 2015 license, together with lots of communities I represent, Peabody, Newburyport, they all signed in 15, and they couldn't see the future. And so now in 2025, Wareham's receiving an HD channel, albeit waiting for 24 months, up to 24 months. So what happened about a few months back, it became more public, is that the town of Concord received 3 HD channels. Now, I should say, and again, something Mike was involved in, I worked with an island community that also was in that situation, but it was very different circumstances, 6 communities, same head end, and so that's something that I didn't think, wasn't possible on the mainland. But then when Concord received the 3 HD channels, all of a sudden PEG Access folks said, well, that's great. What about our town receiving that in renewal? That came up very late. That came up in June, and just based on preliminary discussions with the Comcast representative, it seemed like for better or for worse, there was a different views as to the timeliness of that. I viewed it that the reason that it came up in June is because Comcast just began that practice. So unlike in 2015, where you couldn't predict the future in 2018, now we had a situation where we knew that there were an additional, now up to 3 channels potential. Not a given, to be negotiated. And the last thing we would want is for Wareham or Peabody and Newburyport, all the towns I work with, to have to wait to 2035 to get those 3 channels. So in the spirit of cooperation and compromise, what was decided is that a side letter that I had done in some other communities would be an appropriate way to address this issue. And that side letter says that when the town wants, Comcast will come and speak to you about the feasibility and the providing of up to 2 more HD channels, and also of the electronic program guide, which may come about for PEG access. And so I think that's very important. We were able to reach that agreement. And what that represents is if in the coming months and years, that if as a matter of course, Comcast is offering multiple channels, and they may or may not, that's up to them. But if they are offering multiple HD channels, 2 channels, 3 channels, then Wareham might want to say, well, we'd like to, we think that's something that works for the town of Wareham. And if a company were to say, well, you need to wait till 2035, your renewal, thanks to Mike's cooperation on the side letter, we now have a side letter that says, no, the intent was that, you'll talk to us about doing it. And if circumstances change, we certainly would, from our perspective, expect that, and we know that'd be a good faith discussion of providing those channels. So I'd like to thank Mike again for agreeing to the side letter. I think it's a fair approach to take here. We took into account throughout the process the opinion and the judgment of Wareham Community Television, and they were interested in the 1 channel and not foreclosing changing going forward. Because remember, we're going to get the 2 SDI channels, which are excellent, and at this point may well be enough. So what we have here is something that doesn't foreclose the town going forward, and that is and reflects the intent of both parties. And again, I'd like to thank Comcast for that, because I think it works as well as getting the channels for the town of Wareham. And I did want to put that on the record, so you have a record of that discussion. And then the final side letter is the senior discount. I'll just say a few words, because I'm always in the position of defending the senior discount. It's not a lot. It's $2 if you financially qualify. I sometimes kid around. I say, I get a better senior discount in Zaire, Bradley's, and Caldor, but meaning that they're not there anymore. It's voluntary for a company. Most or many companies do not provide a senior discount. To Comcast credit, it does and has here in Wareham. We have some additional means of qualifying for financial need, including the senior abatement program for taxes, which are good. It's multiple means of qualification. And so I always say, since it can't be required and it's done by a cable company, it's good to have. I realize people are often disappointed in the dollar amount, but as I said, that your other company doesn't provide a senior discount. They have a different perspective. So with that said, I'd be happy to answer any questions. Again, no one, as you know, looks after the town's interest and looks more closely than Matt and your cable committee members involved in negotiations and the strategy, full partners and more, incredibly thoughtful, and it really, with their assistance, we're able to get what I think is a fair license.
I have some questions. So on your senior discount, it says $2 off its monthly digital starter service. Is that $2 a month?
Yes.
Okay,
That's, yeah.
okay. Let's go to page 9. Unfortunately, you're talking to somebody who read it twice.
No, that's good, you know, thank you.
So, under normal business hours, shall mean those hours during which most similar businesses in Wareham are open to serve customers. In all cases, normal business hours must include some evening hours and at least one night per week and/or some weekend hours. Now, I'm going to go to your attachment at the back, which is your customer complaint form. So, is this referring to customer complaints? That,
Well, it should, it also refers to, and maybe in the, it's the law license.
there is a part in there about the customer complaints.
Yeah, and typically it also refers, it'll refer to, and we don't have a specific provision here, but to the customer service office, which is part of the regulations, and when that would be open. So that would be the provision where it has most meaning.
Okay, I'm going to skip around a little bit, but it
Yeah.
says that in one of the sections that you will answer the phone, 30 seconds after the phone is answered, the customer will be able to speak to somebody. Is that, and then within 30 more seconds, you will have the ability to get at least to somebody who will be able to help you resolve whatever question you have. I would tell you that I have never called anybody and gotten something less than 5 minutes of, speaking to a live human being. So is that really what it means, or are you going to be dialing for
Yeah,
dollars
because I'm
and
your
cents?
attorney, not Comcast
Yeah,
attorney.
no, I'm asking the question.
But yes, and then we could, Mike,
Yeah.
of course, could answer, but I'll leave it to Mike to answer what actually happens.
Yeah.
What I try to do in a license is best protect the town, but it's been many years since, apart from some large issues, customer service office, that I focused on the details of it for the reason, Madam Chair, you're stating, is that, customer service in the modern world, and I frankly, I think there are very few better companies than Comcast. They have excellent customer service. And what I feel that the town of Wareham's done that helps in customer service is that you, unlike many communities, you have two companies. And so it's part of that sense of competition, and if you're not being treated well, you have another option. But let me leave the specifics to Mr. Galler, because he would be more familiar with how they meet that standard or not.
Could you speak to that, sir?
I'm really unclear of what's being asked. When it comes to the customer service, Bill, correct me if I'm wrong, but those are FCC standards, correct?
Yes.
So we're required to meet those FCC standards, which we are reviewed by the FCC, and we do meet those requirements.
Right, but my question, sir, is, it says within 30 seconds. Are you going to be speaking to a machine or a human being? And then there's another 30-second lag in there. And again, are you going to be speaking to a human being or a machine?
I don't know that. I honestly don't have the specifics on how our, customer service program works. I mean, obviously there is, like any company at this point, there's the ability to touch one for X, touch two for something else, and things like that. And there's some prompts to work you through some things, but you can get to a person at some point.
Okay. Why, sir, Mr. Solomon,
Yes.
page 9, prime rate, why are you making definition or delineation between the Federal Reserve and the Federal Reserve Bank of Boston in terms of the prime rate?
I'm sorry, are they different in there? Let me take a look. I apologize. Let's see if it's.
Bottom of page 9.
Fine, yep, bottom of page 9, yeah. Well, you know, these provisions, it turns out that the prime rate really is, and it says.
Sir, I'm a retired commercial banker.
Yeah, no, because say, what I was going to mention is that even the Federal, it's not really reported by the Federal Reserve. So I looked into it further over the years, that, it's reported on the Wall Street Journal in different places, and it's not necessarily reported by the Federal Reserve. But the reason I've had that in there for years is the idea that to the extent the Federal Reserve is involved, that we would have often interest rate in the Boston area than you might have in like Texas or Wyoming. And so using the concept of the Federal Reserve, I just put, well, if the Federal Reserve in Boston reports an interest rate, the prime rate, then you should use that. But if there's not one in Boston, then you use whatever the Federal Reserve in general would report. At the end of the day, I said it's not really clear they do report, and sometimes in licenses, including your other license, will agree to the Wall Street Journal. But that's the derivation of saying if there's a local Boston Federal Reserve number, let's use that. If there's not, let's use the general Federal Reserve.
Okay. On page 11, I'm confused, and it comes up in several different places. We talk about the right-of-way and public roads, and a public way is a road accepted by the town of Wareham or possibly not. And in several places, it refers to being able to trim the trees or, dig a ditch or something like
Yes.
that. So is that what the term right-of-way refers to? And why is there a differential between the public way and the right-of-way?
Well, good point. The cable system is provided on non-public ways also.
Mm-hmm.
And so in those provisions, I use the phrase right-of-way because it would be a non-public way.
Okay. In terms of the removal or abandonment on page 13,
Yeah.
licensee, I'm at the bottom of 13, licensee shall remove all of its supporting structures, blah, blah, blah. So even if the stuff is 50 years old, they're going to be taking it away and disposing of it?
Well, there's one caveat I want to say, which I worked on twice and was able to obtain the language that was helpful. As that provision goes along, the Cable Act provides that if they're using the system for telecommunications, and that's a term of art, that they can continue to use it even without a cable license. So that and because telecommunications, at the moment, it would be telephone calls. So that there is that caveat. But apart from that, the issue would be, yes, as I look at the provision, that they'd have to remove everything.
And dispose of it? And
yes.
not at our cost?
That's right.
Okay, I just wanted to make that clear.
Yeah, and yes, and not at your cost.
Okay. Mr. Underhill, I'm going to ask you on page 15 if you believe that section 2-8E, the 120 days notification is appropriate? Because you're the guy who has to paddle the boat.
120 days is relatively short notice, for it, but, in
Page
as part
15,
of
sir.
negotiations, that was the amount of time that we were able to negotiate.
Yeah, that is also, that is actually a FCC regulation, though, the 120 days.
Okay. Okay, pardon me for having no knowledge of current terminology. On page 17, you refer to the downstream direction to Wareham subscribers. Downstream to me means, a river running through it.
Right.
So can you define or can you explain to me what
page?
we're really talking about? We're in the top of page 17,
Okay, yeah.
under subscriber network.
Yeah, so that downstream just means from their head end, where they get their programming to provide to subscribers, it's at a head end. And our PEG programming goes up to their head end. And all programming from the head end to subscribers would be downstream.
Okay, so the head end is in Fairhaven or someplace, am I correct?
I think it's
Mike
Fall
would know
River? Is the head
It's
end?
it's someplace not, yeah.
Not here, yes.
Okay.
But, Mike, where's the head end, do you know? It used
I
to,
honestly don't know offhand. I think it's either Fairhaven or Fall River.
yeah, that's what.
I thought
I'd
it
have
was
to
Fall
find out.
River, yeah. My problem is that regularly for several months, in fact, more than several months, people who watched this program on Comcast would text and say, "Where are you?" And it took, I believe it was more than 6 months of me nagging WCTV to be able to get what WCTV has since told me was a replacement part from Comcast to enable the transmission to be appropriately transmitted. Okay? I don't want to see that again. And I just want to make sure that this contract covers that when we say it isn't working, that we get something better than a 6-month, we don't really know what's going on.
Well, that's a fair point. I think the answer is yes, it does, and that is if something is not being done by a cable company that needs to be done, and this license does cover their obligations to do so, then the best person to reach out to is the government affairs representative, and if there's not a response, which Mike is great at responding in my experience, but if there's not, you need to call Comcast before your board and say it's not working. So I agree with it, but I do believe, as your attorney, that the license has sufficient provisions to require Comcast to meet its obligations.
Okay, thank you. Page 19, section 4.3, item C, except as provided for in paragraph blah, blah, in the event that the licensee is required to place existing aerial plant underground. Is that what's saying it used to be above ground and now it has to be buried? Is that what that's talking about?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
All right. On disconnection and relocation, page 20, section 4.8. By any town department acting in a governmental capacity, what about state roads? Do any of the lines go through or above or beyond state roads? Because we have several that go through this town.
Yep, good, but let me just take a look.
Yep.
And,
Is this 4.8, section
yeah.
A?
Yep, just give me 30 seconds.
I don't know. I mean,
Yeah.
I guess the question is, do any of the lines or the transmission equipment have to go under, over, or beyond any of our state roads?
Basically all of
Yeah,
our state
and-
roads.
So we're binding the town, but we're not binding the state here, is what you're telling me.
Right, we're not buying the state, but which provision in 4.8, I'm sorry, I apologize, which part of it?
It's okay. Question about the 3 high-definition channels. Are they going to replace the 3? In other words, today we have 3. In 5 years, we might have 3 high defs. Is Station 8 going to remain Station 8, or are there going to be 6 stations, 3 of them non-HD and 3 of them HD?
Great question. It does not provide to maintain the SD when one goes to HD. So the HD will be in the thousands, And the SD channel, although we don't have the ability to tell the company it can't change the location, it hasn't, and we hope it doesn't. So those would stay at the, whatever, single or double digit that they are now, and the HD, as you said, Madam Chair, would be higher up. That's a reason why it's helpful to have the all HD channels, but there are still people who have a non-HD ready cable TV. It can, 1-2% of your population. And those folks can only see the community programming, PEG programming, on standard. So that, having those 2 standard definition channels now has some benefit. As a few years go by, you're likely to have no one left who doesn't have an HD ready TV set. And at that point, then yes, if the town has, for instance, 3 HD channels, they're all in the same location, which has some benefit.
Okay. I just want to take note of the fact on page 30, the top sentence has been stricken, and we are in agreement of that. Each monthly subscriber number, blah, blah, blah.
Yes.
Yes, I apologize. It
That's
shouldn't be
okay.
there,
I just
yes.
want to confirm that.
Yep.
Okay. Okay, this is a question for customer service, Mr. Gall.
Gall, yes.
On page 35,
Sorry.
section 8.3, credit for service interruption. Okay, I lose my cable for 4 days, and it says here that I'm going to get a prorata credit or rebate. How are you going to do that? Does that come on my next month bill, or how does that happen, sir?
I'd have to find out how we do that through finance. I'm not really, I don't work in finance and deal with really those type of issues. I would think it would obviously come through on a future bill, but I'm not exactly sure how that works. But I can find that out for you.
Okay, page 37, complaint resolution procedures. The licensee shall establish a procedure for resolution of complaints by subscribers. In other words, you don't have one?
Oh, I think that's just standard language that's included in all licenses. We obviously we go through multiple different ways of, complaint resolutions, whether it comes through me, whether it comes through our executive customer care, whether it's called in. Either way, we have a process that we follow internally that we make sure that the customer is well taken care of.
Okay, thank you. On page 41, the performance bond, I'm confused about performance bond generally speaking and the performance bond of the $50,000 that's mentioned here under section 10.2, page 41.
Yeah, well, so there's, right, one performance bond, and the amount would be, to continue to be $50,000. And that, if it was gone against, then that would have to be replaced by Comcast. So it's, as performance bonds go, that's higher than a good number. I think it has value because there are times where a performance bond's needed in any relationship, but over the years, there's been less need for it. Certainly with a company like Comcast, and they also have assets, but the amount is $50,000, and that's the bond. Albeit, again, if you go against it, they have to replace that amount.
Okay. On page 45, Mr. Underhill has noted to you the fact that I found an error in noting. Page 45 at the
Yes.
top.
Oh, next one, yeah.
Yeah, it refers to
Yeah,
section.
reference, thank you, yes, and I
Yeah.
will make that change.
Okay, so I want to make sure that that's on the record, that has been changed to make,
Yeah,
yeah, okay. It says 12.4, and it should say 12.5.
thank you.
Thank you. I think that does it for my questions.
Great, well, thank you. I appreciate you working it so closely and finding those and asking the questions.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments?
Sorry.
Is there anyone in the public who would like to speak in favor of this renewal? Mr. Day, is there anyone would like to speak against it? Thank you. Any other questions or comments from us? Concerns? You have the documentation that we would sign as of today, which would be forwarded to Comcast? And today would be the effective date, is that correct?
With the changes we'll make. I can make those changes tonight here.
Okay. I trust you,
Good.
maybe.
That's good. Well, thank you.
Okay. I think there's really only that one change, which is the reference change.
And
And then-
the subscriber number,
Yeah.
which there's in two different places, and I
Right.
took it out one and not the other, so I
Okay,
apologize.
all right.
Yeah.
I'll accept a motion to close the hearing.
I move to close the Comcast contract license renewal hearing.
We have a motion made and seconded to close the hearing. Is there any further discussion on the motion to close the hearing? Hearing none, I will go for a roll call vote. Mr. Still, Mr. Gomes,
Aye.
Ms. Corbett,
Aye.
and myself, aye. It is closed. Ms. Corbett?
I hereby move that the board, as cable television licensing issuing authority, vote as follows. 1, to grant the subject cable television renewal license with a license renewal term of December 16th, 2025 to December 15th, 2035 to Comcast of Massachusetts 3, Inc. All terms and conditions contained in the renewal license have been agreed to by Comcast. Comcast, by and through its authorized representative, shall execute this renewal license agreement as set out on the signature page of the renewal license. And 2, to recognize and acknowledge the senior citizen discount and PEG, EPG, and HD letters signed by Comcast Senior Manager of Government and Regulatory Affairs, Michael Galla.
Second.
Motion made and seconded to approve as read into the record. Is there any further discussion on that motion? Hearing none, I will go for a roll call vote. Mr. Still?
Aye.
Mr. Gomes?
Aye.
Ms. Corbett?
Aye.
And myself, aye. It is so. Gentlemen, I think we're all set.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank you.
Galla. Nice to
Thank
meet
you,
you.
Mike.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a great holiday, everyone.
You too, Mike. Thank you very
You
much.
as well.
Thank you.
We'll go to liaison initiative reports, board comments. Mr. Still?
None for me.
Mr. Gomes? Ms. Corbett, and myself, no. Ms. Corbett, I'll accept motion on the minutes.
I move to approve the Select Board meeting minutes of November 18, 2025, regular session.
Second.
Motion made and seconded to approve is read into the record. Any further discussion on that motion? Hearing none, I will go for a roll call vote. Mr. Still?
Aye.
Mr. Gomes?
Aye.
Ms. Corbett?
Aye.
And myself, aye. It is so. Ms. Corbett?
I move to approve the Select Board meeting minutes of December 4th, 2025, joint session with School Committee and Finance Committee.
Second.
Motion made and seconded to approve is read into the record. Any further discussion on that motion? Hearing none, I will go for a roll call vote. Mr. Still?
Aye.
Mr. Gomes?
Aye.
Ms. Corbett?
Aye.
And myself, aye. It is so. Just want to remind everybody to stay safe, drive carefully. It is slippery out there. It's cold out there. Thank you to all of the people and organizations in Wareham who have been offering help to all of the people in this town and beyond. Absent that, I will accept a motion. Mr. Gomes, go ahead. Make the motion.
I motion to adjourn this meeting.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion made and seconded to adjourn. Is there any further discussion? It's not debatable. Mr. Still,
I was going to say no, but I'll say yes.
Mr. Gomes,
Yes.
Ms. Corbett,
Aye.
and myself, aye. It is so. We are adjourned at 8:13. Good night, Wareham. Thank you. Stay safe.